Hello. Bear with me 1 second. I'm gonna grab some water. I'm gonna have my phone with me next to me just because I was helping my mother out earlier. I had to be able to call me. Robert Johnston, you're a beautiful boy. J Birdmax, Mealy, love you all very much. Just a ton of mods. Hi. Thank you for everyone joining. Appreciate it. Didn't stream last week. Apologies for that. Start properly in a minute. Let's just jump in. Why not, eh? What have I... Oh my god, what have I just done? Oh, no, that's good. Oh, I've done streams before. Hi, BoredGamer. You okay? I've streamed before. You all know that. How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing well. If you'd like to ask a question during the stream, say question in brackets and ask away. It can be topic changes, it can be whatever. Mostly Star Citizen related to Appreciated, but it can be about, you know, me or my channel or something else that's relatable in some way that I might have information on. I mean, if I don't, I'll give it a darn good go at answering. That's just my brain. So yeah, hope everyone's doing well. We are currently in the midst of the 4.3 live build, Onyx facilities, extra sort of fixes for the resource drive event. Hope everyone has got what they want from that to an extent. We've got 4.3.1 next in September. Got a load of cool stuff happening with that. We've got the Apollo. We've got new medical gameplay potentially. There's a load of other stuff. They've got like NPC dropships. Then they're opening up the wing of the last wing of the Onyx facilities. Assumedly there's going to be a boss fight in there as well. There's the teasers of the new medical charger of some description, or if it's a medical goo charger, or if it's a sort of medical battery charger, something like that. Yeah. There's CIG recently talked about battle cruiser and going, look, it's going to be probably the last concept sale that we do, and they're obviously moving to the straight to flyable model and have been for a while and have been pretty good at that. I think that's an interesting one as well. Battle cruiser going to be massive. How much will that ship be? $5,000+? Quite possibly, because the Javelin, for example, is what, $2,700 to $3,000. So, and I've talked to Zin about this. She doesn't care. Let me be more specific. He does not mind people buying spaceships as long as you can get those spaceships in game, and as long as people don't harangue and harass people by using their spaceships. So she wouldn't like it if an org bought a load of Idris and then sort of blockaded an area where the starter ships would be. You use it like that, because that's pay to troll. I think that's what it is. It's some people are worried about pay to win. Some people are worried about pay to troll. Ship Showdown, that started as well. Well, I say that started. We're Elite 8 now, right? Like, the Polaris is going to win today's, and then you've got, like, the Polaris, the Medivac, let's have a look at the page. I'm not confident in knowing what they all were. So you've got the Asgard, Medivac, Razor, Gladiator, Zeus Mark II ES, Vulture, Crowder Utility, and Polaris. I think the Polaris will go far in this one. Yeah. Sad that there's no Mercury Star Runner or Carrack. Surprised that the Raft went out in the first round. And the Corso was there. Got beaten by the Zeus Mark II. Yeah. But I'm interested to know what other people think. But lots of waves of Idrises are about to go on sale as well. 24 waves. Don't know how many Idrises are going on sale. Could be 1 with each wave. Could be 200. Could be 1,000 with each wave. That's unlikely. You think the upper limit's probably 200 a wave, and the lower limit's probably like 25? Probably 20, actually, the lower limit. Hello, Shokatus. Shokaticus. I can't say names. I'm dyslexic. First time I say letters together in a row of a configuration that I've not said before or thought about properly before. It's actually said before. My brain can't process. Literally can't process it. Trying to explain it to someone the other day. Robert Johnston, I love you. My question is, have you fecked off yet? I regularly feck off. Sometimes, I mean, like yesterday I didn't even stream. Yet last week, no stream. That's how fecked off I was. Thanks so much. Genuinely appreciated. Robert Johnston, the only man who will pay me to swear at me. Politely swear as well. Thank you so much. I do appreciate all the love. 86 months you've been a member for as well. Oh, just in time for my bedtime. Well, watch it time to go to sleep or watch it in the morning or something. I do appreciate the support. It is genuinely appreciated. Around this time of year as well. So there's often a... Oh, Billy 2 names. Thank you very much for the bits. Genuinely appreciate it as well. Around this time of year, there is a lull in views. That's been a bit offset by some sponsorships and people desperately wanting VPNs. So that's been good, but views are typically down until kind of September time, and well, they start to build up again now, I suppose, leading up into October. But you have a load of views October, November, December, and then irregular views January, sort of March. Then it picks up again briefly, well, for a little bit in May, and then it sort of plummets until October-ish again, October time-ish. Yeah, I appreciate all the love. Appreciate all the memberships going away as well. Oh, you're a gem of a man. Thank you so much. So yeah, if you'd like to ask a question during the stream, question in brackets. All these people that have been forcibly subscribed to my channel. You got a something, and he's got a membership as well now. Appreciate it. Where do these images from Star Citizen Engineering 4.3.1 come from? I'm not sure what you're talking about specifically. There's obviously the old engineering footage. There's an expectation that engineering is going to come to the tech preview real soon. There's no specific 4.3.1 footage that I've seen that's not from CIG. There is an Evocati tech preview going on at the moment. I'm not sure if that's 4.2.1 or 4.3 codebase, and that has upgraded Vulkan sort of integrations in, like the load of graphics options and graphical updates that Squadron's got. That's got in that, and a load of AI and NPC updates. Character models are looking great in it. Is 1.0 in 2026 wishful thinking? Yes. So Squadron 42, yes. Chris Roberts has said, or at least alluded to in a translation from a French article, talking about the new Montreal, the renaming of the Montreal Turbulent Studio to Cloud Imperium Games Montreal. He said, basically by the end of 2028. That's what I discerned from what Chris said of a couple of years after the release of Squadron. Good night, Robert Johnston, mate. Thank you so much for turning up, for chucking money at me. That is always appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, legend. Is the new Vulkan and graphics settings coming in the next update, or is it a showcase of the build? So, tech preview is supposed to be stuff. Tech preview can be stuff that will turn up in the next build. So it could be 3.4.1. Sorry, 4.3.1. Or could just go into the live build as soon as it's ready. So the idea is that they can phase the stuff in the tech preview build into the current live build. That's sort of what they have there. Now, sometimes with those tech previews, it's going to be like when they tech previewed engineering and they go, no, it's not ready yet. We'll bring it back to the tech preview later. Cool. Done it with like the Pyro Playground and stuff like that, right? That's what could happen with engineering again with version 2. So the thing is it's not copium to think that 1.0 will be released in 2028. It's what CIG have implied, and we'll just sort of have to wait and see. Like it's over 3 years away, end of 2028, right? That's a ridiculous amount of time, especially now, in terms of Star Citizen development time. Because look at how they've been doing monthly patches. There's that monthly patch cadence has done wonders for the game. So the next buyback token will be October 6th. Thank you, Jaybird. I like the little backtets turn up in my chat. I hope the wave of PvE never ends. So I want a nice mixture of PvP and PvE. It's important to be able to do both in the game, but I want, for the most part, PvPers to play against PvPers, or there to be riskier areas or a level of risk in certain areas and doing certain things. Kind of want Eve PvP, right? So you can PvP in Jita. You can PvP in the safest area in the game, but you're going to get blown up. Hopefully, if that other person was sensible, they haven't put themselves in a position where they haven't lost too much from the PvPer. I mean, I'd be happy for CIG going, look, you're in a safe area, like you're on Terra, yeah. Someone PvPing you there isn't going to happen. If you're unlawful, that's a little bit different. If you are in a secure, lawful area as an unlawful player, well, people are going to PvP away you. No safe areas for them, or at least limited safe areas. Maybe there will be a unlawful, a criminal safe area. I mean, that makes sense, right? The council, stuff like that, they could have their version of a safe area where you are super protected. So you can like trade with other criminals and know that they're not just going to immediately backstab you. Battlecruiser will probably be like what they have to do with the Bengal, building a station. So they understood, and I expect you will be able to buy build a battlecruiser, but CIG has specifically mentioned concept sale, right? The Bengal's never been on concept sale. They were talking about concept ships, and they said basically the battlecruiser would be the last concept sale. Okay, cool. That means they're going to sell it, right? I mean, they might not, but that was the implication, and that's a heavy implication. Which ships that are currently raced do you think get hacking? I'm assuming the Mercury, Star Runner, and Herald. So they're data runners. It depends what you mean by hacking, and it depends exactly what CIG allow us to do, because there's going to be lots of like FPS hacking, right? And some of this might be pipe system. It might be like the Sentinel gets it, right? Like that's an E-warship. It might be ships that like do spoofing and stuff. The Legionnaire, for example, that hacks docking ports, latches on, and opens the door. So I think there's going to be lots of different types of hacking, and I do think there might be sort of, you can count e-warfare and stuff as hacking. So I think the data runners will be able to hack data as a general thing, but be able to download data, which might have a hacking-esque gameplay loop. Or you might be able to more generally hack stuff, but you won't be able to store that hacked data unless you've got a data runner. Things like that, right? Like, we don't 100% know. Is Big Benny's made from people? Well, to agree. There's going to be at least a fraction of people in all your food in the world. Think about that. Just even if it's just little tiny bits of skin. So fractional percentage, yes. Also, if you don't want to eat people, don't get people flavor. Made with real people. Like by scratched out. Right out of the gate, I got a question for you. A lot of people call this game a scam. I personally feel a scam unusually isn't playable, Lamau. But I'd love to hear your opinion on whether you believe it's a scam. So it depends on how you define scam and what they're annoyed about, right? If they're like, you got promised a game by the end of 2026, therefore is scam, then by their definition, it's a scam. So Star Citizen, by almost all reasonable definitions, is not a scam. Squadron 42, Star Citizen, they are using the money on building some games, and they're using most of the money to do that. They have the most open development of any game I've ever seen at the scale that they're at, right? That's obviously changed over the years. They have become a lot more corporate. They have all these shows and everything. They are spending all of that money on developing a game. It's not like they're hiding away. They're constantly pumping out information. You've got a playable product now. They've got Squadron 42 coming out in 2026. Maybe you'll have Star Citizen 1.0 by the end of 2028. I hope so. But it's like saying, oh, so this is the example I always give. It's like saying, how do we fake going to the moon? Well, let's build a rocket capable of going to the moon to make it it more believable. They're making the game. So it depends on how they define scam, right? And you can define it however you want and then make that fit your narrative. It's not released. So, okay, for example, my mates, some of my mates went, I went to a stag do reunion thing a couple of weeks ago. My mates would go, well, is that game really even released yet? And I go, well, last time you asked me was like a year ago, and it's still a playable alpha, so not a fully released game, but and they'll tell me about some game they're playing in early access on Steam, and I'll be like, this is as released as that. It's a lot more released than some of the early access games they're playing. But yeah, it's got a huge development cycle. Star Citizen is a game that's constantly expanded and scoped up, and a lot of people would call that feature creep and vaporware and stuff like that, right? But it's not. And the reason it's not feature creep is because they've got the time and the money to do it, and they will eventually do it. So a lot of stuff with sort of a vaporware or like these huge amounts of technical debt and being overscoped, whatever, is that, well, you're never going to be able to do it in a timely manner. CIG don't need to do it in a timely manner. They'll do it eventually. And it's a sort of ridiculous thing to say, but it is kind of true, right? I love the Project Watson all. Like, genuinely, the drama and stuff always interests me. Star Citizen's always going to have a reputation of, oh, it's a scam game. But no one will be able to articulate why, in a reasonable fashion, why it's a scam. They'd have to just define scam. Oh, there's an ice cream truck outside my house. Not as an ice cream truck. I remember I was interviewing Montoya once, and we were talking away, and there was an ice cream truck outside. And I think I ran off to get an ice cream during the interview. So go get one, mate. I was like, okay, yeah, I will. That was a few years ago. I appreciate all the kind words and all of the and all the banter. Appreciated. I haven't caught a stream in so long. Well, I appreciate that people did. I love seeing people here when they do. Good to see the Poets, mates. The reason I will always outline the Poets being here is because I respect his tech work. He's very good on the social medias and at sort of presenting stuff. Very good host for things. I sort of like his style. And I think he'll go a long way in the Star Citizen community for a long time. It's worth checking out some of his content. Or at least following him on X. Food truck ship when? Well, what if they allowed you to sell food anyway? What if the Spanish merchant will allow you to sell food? What if you can sell food at your base? What if there are smaller shop vehicles? Say, think of a bandit merchantman, yeah, and then divide it by 10. Why not have a single or double shop module ship? I think there probably will be that. And what if you could do a little food truck because of that, or a little convenience store that moves around? I'm almost certain we'll have that. It's really dumb, and loads of people will love it. There's very much an I reckon. I've been playing since 3.1, and I've loved the game since finding it. Star Citizen isn't a scam, in my opinion. Good. I think it's awesome CIG is doing what every other game dev says is impossible. The game is massive. It's massive, but it's taking a long time. Like, they get stuff wrong. And let's not pretend they don't. They get stuff wrong, and their development is a double-edged sword. It's cool they can do it, and they almost certainly will. And now they're making some more concessions. I think you'll feel that you feel a little bit more teleporty in elevators, for example. I think they're going to do freight elevators a bit more sensibly rather than, you don't need to physicalize everything, CIG. You don't. I understand that you want to, and it's very cool for Squadron 42. I just want to be able to play the game. What's this with the new Idris waves? So there's 24 waves of Idris that are starting to be sold today at 4 p.m. UTC. Is that now? I'm at UTC +1. That'll be at 5 p.m. my local time, I think. The first 12 waves of Idris that are being sold are for people that got new. They should have been emailed about it. They're the most active playtesters and players and stuff. So sort of bear that in mind. What was I gonna say? Some stuff. Don't know how many Idris is being sold with each wave, but it's from 4 p.m. UTC, every 4 hours, new wave, and the second set of 12, the wave 13 onwards, are for everyone to participate in, I believe. Hello. We don't know if it's going to be 1 Idris a wave or 1,000 Idris a wave. More realistically, it's going to be between 20 Idris a wave and 200. And the reason they're doing them again? So, the reason they gave was because they weren't allowing the Idris to be voted on in the ship showdown, because it would have take too much effort to make I assume make a skin for it, but it was more to during the free fly they didn't want Idrises being flown by everyone because it would just break the game. They went, we'll sell that, we'll sell it as if it's in the 16. I mean, I would say however many, as long as they sell a reasonable amount of Idrises, that they'll, as long as they don't overstock them, they'll sell within seconds. So, I don't award ambition or intention from Star Citizen. I understand both. I want a fun, playable game. I like playing Star Citizen now to see the new stuff and to mess around a bit. I don't sit down and play prolonged sessions of Star Citizen like I used to. I do a little occasionally, but only when I'm really interested by something. Because typically I'll play a load of the... mostly I play the new content in the PTU and Eva Cardi phases to death. And then I'm like, oh, cool. When 1.0 comes out, no more resets. Playing tons of Star Citizen. I will probably start streaming super regularly because I'll just be a lot more gameplay. It's got my entire fleet during the first waves and didn't get one. Now I'm down to several ships. Drop them a message. Drop to customer service a message and say, look, I did this to prepare. Tried to get it, didn't get it, and now I'm out of pocket. Can you help me? They might be able to restore your ships or sort you out with an Idris at a discount. I don't know. I think it's always worth asking, right? The Idris isn't in the running though. So they said it was ineligible to be in the running, which is why it isn't, because the Idris is flyable. It should be eligible, but CIG said we're not going to allow it in. That's one of the reasons they're selling it. The Raptor is real. The Raptor is available as a thingamajig reward, a referral reward. I don't think it's in-game yet. Regarding Squadron 42, Episode 2 and 3, in your opinion, will Chris Roberts push towards making those sooner rather than waiting until post 1.0? I think there'll be a big focus on Star Citizen 1.0, but they will, after a little pause of bringing everything from Squadron 42 into 1.0, or into Star Citizen, they'll start working on Episode 2 to some degree pretty soon afterwards, because they're going to need... they've probably done the script for it already, I would expect. But they'll need to record mocap with celebrities. Are the first waves cash only? Don't know. I'd really enjoyed seeing a few more manufacturers. I'd love to see a Kruger cap ship. Oh. I hate the idea of areas being gate-kept behind PvP. Make the areas unsafe with NPCs. No need for PvP. Okay, so I don't want PvP invading every area of space just for the, well, it's a PvP game, I'm going to nude stomp you. Okay. With people with those attitudes, the worst thing that could probably happen is that they move the PvPers all off onto their own server or something, right? Because then those PvPers are having to fight other people that are wanting, fully prepared, and able to defend themselves in PvP. So, I just want areas to be PvP, PvP, PvE, and PvEVP, right? And you have some of these areas that are super safe, just like, as I said, in EVE 1.0, 1.0 sec base, super safe. You're protected. Have it almost like GTA rules as well, where they have to pay for your ship if they attack you in a super safe space, right? Because they've got your insurance details. You're in normal space. If you're in unlawful areas, PvP should be able to just occur for the most part. Again, like I said, with the council and stuff earlier, there probably should be some safe areas for criminals to be able to go, well, I want to trade with other criminals I don't know if I can trust. There needs to be some sort of enforced trust system there. So yeah, I want all of that content. And I would argue with anyone that goes, oh, you don't want PvP in your game, or your PvP should be everywhere. It shouldn't be everywhere. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Because then you'll entirely drive out the people that only want PvE, and a lot of those people are going after those people that only want PvE and stomping them and going, ha! I PvP'd them, get good. What? You should be aware that that stuff can happen. And if you are putting yourself in an area where that happens because you want to make more profit or whatever, you shouldn't complain about being PvP'd. It's a little annoying in some situations where you get shot at and there's nothing to gain from it to go, well, there's no, why are you doing this? Oh, because I want to beat you. We weren't playing against each other. I think it's the non-competitive PvP that people are really annoyed at. But it's important to have both. I want both. I want people to be able to do both. Those players meet in the middle for some things. Some people will entirely avoid PvP. A lot of players will just seek out PvP, be it going after criminals or being a criminal and just being a pirate in blockading jump points and stuff. But shouldn't be able to do that as much in lawful areas. There's no place semi-lawful areas, which are a little bit more, like Stanton. It's a little bit, well, there's pirates there, there's private security there. It's not a super safe UEE zone. So, yeah, PvP to a lesser extent should occur there. But not around Terra. Right? I'm a pirate. You'll call me griefer, just kidnapping them and politely requesting. I think that's kind of fine gameplay. As long as you're not using an exploit to do that, I think that is fine. And funny. And gameplay. You're going to have loss and true risk. 100%. You need that in the economy, right, to drive. Otherwise, you just have super inflation. Yeah, and that's how you get interesting economies. I like it all coming together. I've probably stolen around 100 plus full C2s, and most pilots will outright refuse to negotiate. It depends how you've stolen them as well, right? Again, if you haven't used an exploit, you haven't just run on them while they're, like, docked at a station. That's the annoying thing, like, we're in an armistice zone, and someone is just going to walk onto your ship. What are you going to do? I want to be a fun space pirate. Hat, accent, whole 9 yards. Perfect. That's what I want to see. The problem with pirates is there's no risk for them. Yeah, well, that's going to change a bit with Death of a Spaceman, that sort of stuff. Yeah, so the mechanics aren't fully there yet, but that's when they are. I just want it sort of nicely segmented out. And all of those things will go to build interesting risk versus reward, PvP experience, and I just want players to know what they're getting in, going into the areas they're going into, right? I need to fix VC. Yes, they do. Comms do need to be fixed in game. You don't have to be friendly to be non-PvP. And then obviously there's a load of PvE stuff to do. And you can engage in PvP when you want to. It's different people wanting very different things, right? Some people are going to find PvE really interesting. Some people are going to find PvP really interesting. And never the two should meet. But I disagree with that. I want those two things to meet. And like Pyro and Nyx, you want them to be a hotbed of PvP activity. If you're wanting to go to Nyx and Pyro and do PvE stuff, good luck. I mean, you're just going to be at higher risk. And there'll be a lot more reward for that. But it's going to happen. Take escorts. I'm not necessarily... I want people... Okay, so... you don't hate people, hate pirates and PvP, you just hate people that play like it's COD. Not even that, because contested zones play like COD. You can do that if you want. It's extraction zones if you want to play it as Tarkov, cool. That's kind of meant like that, right? Around the Myth and Legend, first time I've caught you. Thank you for all the content you and Zin put out. That's very much appreciated. Thank you. That's very, very kind. Sorry, normally I don't talk on PvP because it's sort of like it's very polarizing to people, and I have a genuine view that both sets of players and the huge amount of overlap between them can exist in game. And I don't want to see PvE only servers. I understand the people that do want that. I don't want that, and I don't want PvP everywhere without security and that sort of. You could technically, I'd be up for PvP everywhere if you went. Yeah, if someone does it on Terra, well, you're going to be fine because even if you get shot on Terra, there's hospitals immediately there, and the insurance there will pay for all your ships and everything. It might come out of the person that attacked you's bank balance or whatever. Cool. Have those kind of social and in-game things, but you could technically PvP everywhere. I'm fine with that. Just as I said, like in Eve. Be totally up for that. But I surprised you when you weren't expecting PvP. Lol, I shot you in the back. Yeah, good. I was like, what? You hiding in a hole for 4 hours and waiting and then ambushing me isn't the best gameplay for me, who's been working to do something for a while, wasn't expecting that, and you just go and get good. What does that mean? What? You want me to, what? Know that you were there somehow? We haven't got the scanning in the game. The contested zone? Go right ahead. You should. Shame on you. Shame on me? Shame on someone. Yeah, I'm glad a lot of people are enjoying Resource Drive a lot better now, right, than the original 4.2.1. So incredibly excited for the Battlecruiser. You have no idea. What do we know besides it's bigger than the Javelin? It's like no other capital ships that they've got in game so far. And it's bigger than the Javelin. It's their last concept sale, probably. We'll probably see it in concept sale next year. That is pretty much all we know. What's the ship showdown actually about? It's just a mini event, popularity contest, literally sort of a mixture of in-game and out-of-game. Vote on ships based on social media popularity. They put like top 16 ships in, and then they whittle it down to the top 4. We get skins made for them at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. If you own those ships or buy them, then you get those skins for free. Sort of just a cool little popularity contesty thing. And gets people talking about ships and CIG selling ships, which is how they fund their game. So they're finishing off, right? Squadron 42, getting all the optimizations in, getting everything ready for release. So huge amount of ironing out and bugs and more micro tweaks and polish, tons of polish, and all of the different versions of that. And they're bringing that into Star Citizen as well. That's what the Vicardi build that they did with the tech preview was about. Do you expect to see more pad carriers? Some of the Kraken concepts were sick. So, CIG said that in 3.4.1, or implied in 3.4.1, there is going to be the ability for motherships, like an Idris, to have ships land in them, and then use the resources of those ships to rearm, repair, and refuel. So, that's cool. Not going to be all ships that have the ability to do that, or have the ability to have that done to them. But that could also potentially say that there's going to be more carriers in the future as well, right? Yeah, I think in the future you'd have capital ships as a class, right? In the ship showdown. Star Citizen is PvPvE and nowhere will be completely safe. And I said, I'm fine with that as long as you don't have to be safe to be protected. I'm fine with PvP occurring, but if you are in a hospital in Terra, or on Terra, and some random person just decides to shoot you, security should take them out almost instantly, and you should just be like, yeah, you got taken out here, doesn't matter. You effectively respawn instantly, and they had to pay for all the damages. Yeah, why not, right? They're in lawful territory. I think as long as you have enough gameplay mechanics that prevent people from doing that, yeah, that guy can do that once, and then he can't come back to Terra. Always has like a long-term extreme criminal rating or something like that, right? And why would you even be allowed weapons there? Because I'm fine with them taking away the hard armistice everywhere, as long as they are protecting it in other ways. Yeah, one of the other ways they want to protect areas is with the FPS turrets, right? I just have a problem with murder hobos. I think that's all it is. Murder hobos very much were a thing in Eve as well. Has there been a major influx long-term players? I'm finding it so hard to return to Star Citizen considering how the sessions are easily the most inconsistent MMO experience in gaming right now. So they are... Star Citizen is more complete and more expansive than it ever has been, with a load more to do. And 4.3 is pretty stable, pretty good. I mean, it is an alpha game, not complete. There's no permanent progression, although there is mid-term progression, right? There's not that they don't reset very much. I really enjoy Star Citizen. I don't play it super long term, like constantly for the progression, because there is no that long term progression. I play a few hours a week, and I play load during a PT or Eva Cardi phase more than I do on the live build. It's super important to have both PvP and PvE in my opinion. Super important. CIG wants a functional economy, then pirates and pirating will have to be heavily aggressed upon and not highly common. You just want it in certain zones, right? Nixon Pyro, Wild West. Hello and welcome. What do you think about CIG Montreal? So yeah, Turbulent changed their name officially to Clan Imperium Games Montreal. And that's one of the right places that we had Chris talk about 1.0 being released in 2028, by the end of 2028. Yeah, cool. I mean, Turbulent was a CIG studio anyway, really, right? They just now officially named themselves that. Hopefully medical gameplay will give us revenge against meta-havers. Well, indeed. Just some sensible gameplay mechanics to protect you in certain situations. Probably enough. Looking forward to the new medical gameplay that looks like it's going to turn up in 4.3.1. I feel sorry for people that go into Star Citizen expecting a polished experience. CIG's fault. Yes, 100%. They market it. They've seen the trailers for the game. It looks beautiful. And it goes... They need to have a thing saying, not actual... this is not going to be your gameplay experience. Well, that could be for some people, right? It's just unlikely. What quality of life features are you most looking forward to? Helmets not showing as boxes. Well, so that's in the Evocati build, right? They've physicalized helmets to a degree. Hanging from the hip, boot lockers, working food dispensers. So, interestingly, a lot of my quality of life features involve around less physicalization. So, instancing certain things, making elevators teleporters, and making both freight elevators and transport elevators. Things like that. I'd go much more in the way of gamify some of the basics so people can traverse. I understand you want a cool world. However, I want a playable game. I like the coolness. I like the whole experience. Oh, it's so massive. Sometimes I just want to play a game. That's why I really like the fact I can spawn in my hangar now when I come back in game. Oh, beautiful. So to say we have midterm progression. So what I'm saying is that there's not resets every patch or anything. They sometimes it's many a month or potentially over a year for a wipe, right? I think base building will bring out a good bit of end game content. Yeah, so content. I mean, I have no idea what Star Citizen end game is going to be at the moment, beyond base building and PvP. Right? So, yes, you heard correctly with some of the medical gameplay stuff. So, it looks like in the next patch, so September's patch, 4.3.1, they're going to be releasing the Apollo. And they're going to be updating some medical gameplay. They also teased that medical archer thing. Let me put it on screen. They teased this, which is from Brentworth, which is the one of the hospitals, medical facility, recharge status, these sort of packs. I'm thinking, it's medical goo, and you charge med beds or medical facilities with them. That will affect the amount of times you can spawn there or heal there and stuff like that. I thought they were batteries to start with, and they so I suppose, I think it's goo recharge, medical batteries. Is 4.3.1 in Evo yet? No, not as far as I'm aware. They were running a tech preview for Vulcan updates and NPC updates and some other visualization of bits and bobs and better character models and things. Some updates coming from Squadron 42 into Star Citizen, basically. But that was not 4.3.1. You can probably expect that next week, would be my expectation. You agree with Mike and me that the community response to the sale of blades and Previously, the ATLS was a significant influence on their decision not to sell modules for the Apollos. Maybe. So I would have probably been okay with them selling. No, I'm glad the ship comes with its modules. I'm glad the ship comes with its modules. I wouldn't want them to sell them separately. So maybe. I think that sort of stuff has definitely influenced it, right? Super important that they don't sell land claims. They don't sell minor components that should be available in game for real money and then gate them. Oof. If the player was incapacitated, could the Apollo use tractor beam to retrieve the bodies? Don't know. I'd like them a bit to be able to, though. Obviously, if people are incapped, you can drag them to a med bed. So why not, right? I think I've done my the microtech stuff for Second Life Resource Drive on my main account. Anyone I was interested in. In your opinion, will CIG eventually drop the idea of private servers entirely? Would you expect that to actually manifest? They might say that custom lobbies and Arena Commander satisfy that, or something like that. CIG had originally promised modding and private servers for Star Citizen. Obviously, the game's changed. They could drop that, and I think people would understand mostly if they did. But it could manifest in the future. Is there a new Drake ship coming out? Is there? I wasn't aware there was a new Drake ship. I appreciate all the kind words. Having internet outage and on my phone. Wish I could be more helpful. You're being perfectly helpful. I wish I could inform my mods when I was going live that I'm just awful as a person. I do appreciate all of you being here, mod or not. Thank you very much. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to go bio real quick, and then I'll go through some more of these questions. Oh, I'll get some water as well. It's a good idea. I'm going to see behind the wizard's curtain. What else do we have? I was thinking about the Apollo drone beds. I want to sit in the drone control seat and fly the beds out and pick up bodies to retrieve them. So we know that the drones aren't coming with the initial release of the Apollo. They do have the space for them to add them later if they want to, but they did say that medical gameplay had changed significantly. So I would say then it's not 100% confirmed that the Apollo's getting those drones anymore, but they might. The gameplay, for the most part, won't change for what the ship can do or anything. What's your thoughts on the RSI Galaxy? And when do you think it will be released? They've been chaining a load of RSI ships together. I could foresee it being turning up next year. Under next year. Oh no. 3.16. I need to update some of these emotes. Or at least depreciate and update. We're expecting Nyx and maybe Castra next year. Yeah, maybe. So I'm expecting them to... Nyx could come out in the not too distant future. They could release Nyx by the end of the year if we were very good, boys and girls. I think we'll have more information at that CitizenCon, whether or not that's likely. They'll need to release at least one to stay on track for the rumoured 2027/28 dates for 1.0. Yeah. Agreed. When can we expect the Carrack's cargo pods to be able to be lowered and raised? So they said they wanted to open it up as well, right? The Carrack's cargo pods, they wanted to be able to be dropped and then interacted like that, and it'd be modular like that. It needs a rework. I don't know when. To Poets, thank you very much. I love the grind. Keep it up, my friend. Appreciate it. So, I like to keep... grind's good for me because I'm bipolar and keeps me focused on something. As soon as I'm focused on something, great. So I just work. I run a couple of other companies and stuff as well, but they're all passions. So it's like Star Citizen, 3D printing, and board games. So really, and I'll probably add another string to my bow at some point as well. Genuinely appreciate it. I appreciate the grind as well, sir. You're doing good in the community. People should check out DePoet stuff if they haven't. Quite often there'll be like a little Star Citizen giveaway going on. You'll probably meet him at some point if you go to a Bar Citizen. What else have we got? Will they make the hauling gameplay less tedious? So there's going to be lots of other stuff to do in your cockpit eventually and on your Mobiglass, and other things might turn up that you'll scan or find or get interdicted, or events and things in Quantum, right? So, yes. Dynamic server meshing will be game-changing for sure. It enables the game to be a true MMO rather than just a multiplayer online experience, right? I think we could have Nyx by the end of the year. Yeah. Was the private server goal before the vote of the direction of the game? Oh, yeah, quite. Yeah, almost certainly. Since we're talking about the Galaxy, what are your expectations for the Perseus' release? I call Bruiser coming with the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. I believe it's going to be released then. 2 massive cannons, one on the top and one on the bottom. They're going to be bespoke. I love the Perseus. It's one of my favorite ships. It's going to be a little Baba, almost a capital ship, right? It's almost a corvette. Well, actually, what size is it classified? Perseus is a large patrol gunship. Yeah, that's on the cusp of being a corvette, I suppose. Will we be able to use our fallen allies as emergency food? Well, I think there are some locations that suggest that might be the case. I do hope there's a noticeable difference between Nyx and Pyro for the legal stuff. Okay, not just another PvP free-for-all. So Nyx is... Pyro's more sort of piratey, dangerous factions, right? Nyx is more sort of like not UEE, but citizens that have moved there and stuff like that, right? Sort of settlers. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the differences. I'm kind of okay with them both being very PvP heavy zones, but we'll have to wait and see. And obviously, like around some of the areas of Nyx, you're not going to want that. Like Delamar, going to want that to be relatively safe, right? That's supposed to be lawful, but not UE citizens or whatever. Lawful people, though. Low sec and Eve. Yeah. And Pyro's more like null sec. Yeah. That's the way I see it as well. I mean, Stanton's not supposed to be that high sec. Like 0.5 sort of thing, right? Yeah. Nyx is frontier, Pyro is fringe, or yeah. I'm liking people's descriptions of this. What else do we have? You still be interdicted by NPCs, but it's insanely rare. Yep. And player interdiction is now, I believe, working. I've not been player interdicted since it's been, I think, since it's actually been in game. Do you think the Carrack needs another entrance akin to the Zeus? Oh, I want the Mercury Star Runner to get another entry and exit. Just reminded me there. Yeah, hopefully we'll see Nyx by the end of the year. I am generally hoping that. And Miss Levski, yeah, indeed. Villamar and Levski are missed. They were moderately well developed, right? Like, they were visitable locations that had mission givers as well. Much love. J Bird, thank you very much. Hope you're doing well. Hope your mum is also doing fantastic. She is. She was worried about the problem with the toilet, and a plumber came round and said, "Don't know what's wrong. Cost you 480 quid for us to put a camera down there to find out what's going on." I was like, "What? You what, mate?" I phoned them up and talked to them, and they went, "Oh no. That was if everything in the world. That is the higher limit of everything we could do to fix the problem." I was like, okay, just I'm gonna be paying. Keep me apprised of everything you do and confirm it with me before doing something that's gonna cost money. I want my mother to have a toilet back immediately. I don't want her to be fleeced. Or me to be fleeced. So I'm gonna phone her back immediately after this. Consider this Cascom propaganda the prettiest place in the verse. So what is Cascom? You know, Cascom. Is that an org? Is that something I never get. I'm very confused by acronyms from the kids nowadays. Thank you very much for the donation. Genuinely appreciated. You are a star, a beautiful man. They kind of feel like different flavors of Wild West. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Exactly that. Yeah, the Mercury Star Runner desperately needs another entrance. Totally agree. Like, it's my favourite ship, however. Yeah. Cash for 2, I believe, for after next. Gotcha. I appreciate the donation. Genuinely appreciate it. Thanks so much. I wish you could modify rooms, like convert the crew quarters into captain's quarters. So yeah, I'd love for the ships to be more modular. They wouldn't look as good though, right? They'd be a lot more blocky. I understand what you're saying though. There's going to be a level of modularity with certain ships. 4.3.1 is not live now. 4.3 is. 4.3.1 is yet to go into either Cardi or PTU even. Yeah, Cascom is what Castra was called by the... Yeah, got it. If it's not in my notes, then I have to go search for certain stuff. And there's a moderate amount of Stars and there's lore up in my head, but got the spirit from Wicca later today. Wish I had the second entrance as well. Yeah, so I don't know what it is with Crusader, right? It is a shame that Nixon, Delamar, and Levski are not in the verse. Obviously, they were up until... I can't remember, but they went away now. But obviously, they are for Nix. Show that Nix is probably further along than you think. I genuinely think we might see it by the end of the year. Do you know anything about the new flight model that they're working on? And what will it actually change? Or is it, like, unknown? So, load of stuff they're working on. Obviously, they're working on a load of archetype updates for ships. That's like lots of tweaks. And the physicalization of a load of components for engineering. And then a bit more when they've got Maelstrom as well. And they're making those changes in. The new flight model updates are going to include atmospheric flight changes for control surfaces. And they're also going to include, at some point, the new quantum travel system, or experience, as they call it, where nav mode is going away. There's going to be less of a binary change between whether or not you're in nav mode or SCM mode. It's just going to be, have you powered your quantum drive or not? Powered your quantum drive, you can't also have your shields on. You can fire your weapons with the new system. And you can go faster, and you can quantum boost, and you can quantum travel. What else is happening with the flight mechanics? There's just going to be a general rebalance of a load of stuff. All the stuff from Squadron 42 coming over. I think there's going to be a rework to thruster numbers and things like that as well. And the way components interact with each other, which will heavily affect ships because their weight and where your thrusters are and all that sort of jazz. Star Trek teleporters in Star Citizen's future? Maybe in the future. I suppose what you'd do is you'd you just liquefy them. Well, it's going to be clones in Eve, right? What they're going to do is going to go, well, actually, you can keep your clone here and just transfer to this other clone. I think you might be right about Nyx. Yeah, I genuinely think Nyx will turn up by the end of the year. I think there's a good probability it will. Hello. Appreciate all the love. What ships were announced for 4.3.1? The Apollo. You know, the Apollo is going to be turning up next month with 4.3.1. At least that's what CIG have suggested. Might be some other stuff as well. Okay, so I believe that in about an hour, you'll be able to try those ships, those 8 ships from the Ship Showdown. Free fly starts in about an hour. That's what I'm telling you. Whether or not you're already a veteran in the game and got no account or whatever, you'll be able to use those 8 ships. Or if you're entirely new Star Citizen and you want to try it for free, then you'll be able to try those 8 ships out. How much is a battle cruiser going to be? The Javelin is like $2,700 or $3,000 or so. Gotta be like 5k, right? Oof. I think. One of the biggest quality of life improvements for me would be letting us group, ungroup, etc. cargo boxes for the elevator to put up. If I have 100 SCU, I should be able to grab 101 SCU, 32 SCU, and 4. Okay. They need to do it in some way, right? I see what you're saying. Why don't they release an empty system? I think they could throw a few planets down with a few interesting pieces or something. So you might see more proc gen systems in the future if they do like random wormholes opening and that sort of stuff. They do want a more handcrafted experience with Star Citizen though, where possible. Right. Any other questions that people have got? Because this is related to the flight model question. Do we roughly know when it will come out? No. So a lot of some of this stuff is for Squadron 42. They're working on it. You're going to get bits of it from patch to patch. CIG have suggested both that it's a big thing that's coming eventually and will be put in when it's ready, and have also said that they're going to be constantly making tweaks, and some of it will be sort of drip fed. So that's an interesting thing. But I'm expecting the more drip fed approach where we get more and more updates to ship archetypes, and they just work. One patch they'll go, bam, we've got control surfaces in, and that requires more iteration. Why does the pyro stand and jump point always look different between shards? So you might see some updates once that has been renamed and updated after the resource drive event. Bengal, a battlecruiser. The Bengal's a super carrier, I believe. Is it a fleet carrier? It's a carrier, and it has a prefix. I thought it was super stars. Bengal. Fleet carrier, yes it is fleet carrier. I will still refer to it as a super carrier for some reason. I would expect the battlecruiser they're making to be smaller than the Bengal. Quite a bit smaller, to be honest. But significantly larger than a Javelin. Well, I'm going to be going in a second as well. So good to see you, Wiley, mate. Swappable ship capacity soon. So more components and subcomponents are coming at some point, potentially with engineering. We'll have to see if they add customization options for other components as well. What do you plan for the Merchantman release? Oh, so they'll be talking about the Merchantman again. I think they wanted to put people on it starting in the latter half of next year. Sort of get some teams free for that. I'm looking forward to shops in game. I'm going to be flying around a Merchantman for sure. The new ships are the Apollo that we know is turning up in 4.3.1 or expecting to. We've got the battlecruiser that CIG are talking about, and there was a load of ship updates as well. There's stuff they're working on. There's a new ship that uses PDCs, and that's turning up, I believe, in the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. No new news on the Kraken as far as I'm aware, beyond them adding a medical bay to it. A small medical bay. Do you expect orgs like Test to zerg with swarms of these huge ships? Maybe. They wouldn't be able to do it very often because if you don't play them effectively, they're going to be huge losses, right? Yeah, so the final wing is opening up for the Onyx facilities in 4.3.1. What are the chances we could convince Chris Roberts to have pets? Well, it was in the original thing. It's one of the last ones in the original sort of stretch goals. I think pets may be a thing in some way, even if it's just like terrarium pets, right? News on Ironclad. They're making their way through White and Grey Box, both of them. They're working on the command module at the moment with the Caterpillar and the Ironclads. Right. I'm going to dash. I'm going to send you... I'm going to suggest you go over to someone else. Else is streaming at the moment. Maya's back, so give Maya some love. For sure. There will be the podcast tonight coming out in a bit. So watch that. That'll be like... I'll probably race at 6 o'clock today. I'm interested to know if you're excited for 4.3.1. Who you were voting for in the ship showdown. I will be probably backing the Polaris because I'm a monster. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for the bits. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for the questions and for saying hello. And to my mods for being here. I give you nothing and you give me everything, and that is genuinely appreciated. Love you loads. Thank you very much. Astro Truck, I didn't say hello to you. Oh, something broke while I was watching. It's probably fine. Okay, that's fine. Any news on the Legionnaire and infiltration gameplay? So they are working on FPS scanning, and they are working on components and stealthier missions for ships, and making some of the ships rebalancing to be more stealthy. The Legionnaire, we know, is going to require docking collars. So ship-to-ship docking is a thing, and CIG have made all the ships with that in mind. And it's going to require hacking, which is being worked on, as far as I'm aware. So it's getting work. It was relatively far into its development, I believe, a little while ago, and then I paused it for some reason. So maybe they wanted hacking. Right. I'm dashing. Thanks so much for watching. You have a great day. Thank you for supporting the channel. Genuinely appreciate it. If you want to further support the channel, then use the links below. Become a member. Subscribe. Watch my videos. It's genuinely super appreciated. Love you loads. You have a great day.